if we get to the point where, there is a Michigan-Gonzaga title game and Michigan blows out Gonzaga, I would be shocked. But I also, you know what I mean?
I would be shocked if Michigan blew out Gonzaga.
But it also would lead to a confirmation bias of the fact, like, this entire season, like, Wisconsin is still ranked, right? That's how much the Big Ten has been able to use media manipulation to act like they are the greatest thing since sliced bread. So that is where we are in the basketball sphere. So if we get to the tournament and these teams that are in the Big Ten do not deliver and don't win a championship and don't make, at least 2 teams to the Final Four, or at least 1 team to the Final Four, there's going to be a lot of people in the college basketball sphere that's going to point the finger back and say, what?
You want to talk about Baylor? You want to talk about Baylor, like
people like Clemson fans.
Baylor not really fitting in and needs Baylor stepping back from the narrative, so to speak. This is a must-win tournament for Gonzaga, reputation-wise.
Yes,
because this is the best team Gonzaga's ever had. They get an unfair reputation for choking in the tournament. I have no idea why this happens. Gonzaga does not choke in the tournament. You're a moron if you think they do. Go look up their runs that they've had in the tournament. You're an idiot, but. Nonetheless, because they've never won a title, they get a reputation for choking in the tournament. On the other side, the Big Ten, who has been absolutely dominant all season in terms of, like, as you said, narrative, media attention. The fact that Ohio State can lose 3 in a row and still be ranked 7th.
Still be a 1 seed.
Still probably be a 1 seed. Illinois, obviously, Iowa. Like, there's 4 teams in the top 10 at all time.
Rutgers.
Michigan State goes through the run they go through. Now all of a sudden they beat a couple teams, and it's like Michigan State definitely in.
Yes, a lot.
This has become a must, and the entire tournament is happening in Big Ten country. This has become a must-win for the Big Ten.
Yes,
it's probably Michigan is the best chance, but if it's not Michigan, Illinois, Ohio State, Iowa, one of them has to win it.
Yes,
it's been not since 2000 as the Big Ten won. When it happened in 2000, it happened in Indy, by the way. So that's interesting. And Baylor does not that's the shame of the Baylor. That's why Scott Drew's the good guy, because like if Baylor doesn't win, no one's like. The programs, you're just kind of like, all right.
But if you're Gonzaga, I will say this, and this is, if you're a Gonzaga fan, die hard, you think you're going to win it this year, this is the time to earmuffs, turn it down, skip forward, whatever. If you're Gonzaga, right, the only thing that has to terrify you about this whole situation is that you're not playing the NCAA tournament. You're playing the Big Ten tournament. We're all going to Indianapolis. Yep. We're all going to Big Ten country. And we are all going to be in a place that all of these teams are familiar with. They're going to be set up, and it is going to be a different experience. And if you're Gonzaga and you already had your coach say on the record the last time you were in Indy, you were in quote-unquote Siberia.
That's a good point.
That, to me, gives some red flags to say,
Guy from Spokane, Washington called Indianapolis Siberia. Get out of here. Dude.
Well, I'm just saying.
Get out of here.
I'm just saying. He was saying because of COVID protocols, you couldn't be outside. You had to be in a hotel room, yada, yada, yada. But regardless, the fact that is in the ether, it's like going down to the bubble, right? This is an environment that is favoring the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The big schools that are there. So if you're Mark Few and you're a Gonzaga fan, you really wish that this was a normal tournament. Because if this was a normal tournament, I will say this. This is a normal tournament where we're traveling around, regionals, everything. Gonzaga's going to win that championship, 100%.
I think I agree with you, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
100%. But you throw in it's the same thing as like, you throw in the situation of a controlled environment in Big Ten country.
Yeah.
And I could see 3 Big Ten teams being in the Final Four. Would not shock me at all.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And the Big Ten has to win.
And somehow
the Big Ten has to win.
One team that doesn't win.
And they don't win it. They all lose to Gonzaga. Yeah. The Big Ten has to win the national championship. I think mean that's where we've arrived. The Big Ten must win at this point.
20 years.
Especially like the ACC is garbage. The Big East, like Villanova is always. I mean, we didn't bring up Xavier beats Creighton. Xavier's going to make the tournament, but like Creighton does not look the part. Villanova does not look nobody in the Big East looks the part. It's a conference full of bubble teams plus Creighton and Villanova who aren't awesome right now. The Big 12 is interesting, but I don't think like it's obviously deep and very good. But some of these teams are falling out of favor. Texas Tech had lost a few in a row.
West Virginia is probably the hottest.
West Virginia's hot. Yeah, I would say it's Gonzaga, Baylor, the Big Ten. Throw in West Virginia.
Yep. Seriously.
And that's about like where we're at with the greater picture.
Mm-hmm.
So as a conference, if you're thinking of the Big Ten as an entire conference, not a collection of individual teams. This is the best chance they've ever had to break the streak. This is the best chance. Even though Gonzaga is undefeated, even though Gonzaga has 4 guys that are top 5 players at their position, even though I think if Gonzaga played Michigan, they have an advantage at 4 positions probably. Michigan still has to win that game on behalf of the Big Ten. You have to win at Michigan. I think they could.
I think they would. I think in Indianapolis, if they play Gonzaga in Indianapolis, Michigan will win. I do think that. I will say that. 100%.
All over the place.
That will happen in Indianapolis, but not in a normal tournament.
100%.
100%.
Everything you say is 100%.
Hey there. Thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.